working with buyers, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I want to know, like, working with buyers is a lot of fun, right?
Right.
But I want to kind of talk about the fun part of it, the not so fun, and not the not fun at all part of it. So who wants to start off with working the good part of working with buyers?
I'll go first.
Ah,
The good part is your boots on the ground. You're looking at homes. You're looking at some nice homes. You're looking at some ugly homes. You're making sure they're not catfish homes. Kind of seeing their excitements and the homes that they see online. Going to see them in person. Sometimes it's not always what it seems, but sometimes the pictures don't do it justice. And seeing it in person
yeah.
is nice. But once they start kind of picturing themselves in the home and start putting the furniture there, what they're gonna do with the backyard. They're gonna start knocking down walls.
Yeah, well, that's
That's
kind
the
of the
fun
good part
part.
of it,
That's
right?
the
That's the
fun
good
part.
part of
That's the good. That's the fun
that's the
part.
having fun with the buyers, enjoying what we do for a living, and helping others, buy a home. All right. So, what other kind of a good thing is there out there? The good part of working with buyers. What do you think, Chris?
It's just because we've all been a first time home buyer, right?
Mhm.
So just being out there and seeing the different homes, you don't know if it's the first home that they're gonna like. You don't know if it's the 30th home that they're
Oh,
gonna
I know.
like. You know what I'm saying?
That kind of goes into the bad part of it, but we'll
Yeah.
let you go. Finish off the good part.
So yeah. So it's just it's like you're walking into a mall and you they tell you, oh, I want this, I want that, but they just see that beautiful home and you know when they see that home, right? We can draw everything they liked, and when they see that home, it's this, and now it's time to get to work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of the fun part. Working with buyers is fun because you get to know people, get to know their likes. You as a realtor get to tour these homes depending on the price range. There's some beautiful homes in the $200,000 price range. There's some more pricey in the 300,000, so more even nicer homes. And then you get to even I've seen a couple of $1 million homes,
Oh yeah.
and they're like so gorgeous. And so we get to see those because we have buyers in that price range. So that's kind of the fun part. How about the bad? What are some of the bad things in working with buyers?
So some of the bad things, which always have positive, whether it's a lesson learned,
Yeah,
is going to see homes, multiple homes without pre-approval. And
there you
I've
go.
seen it where we, go on tour and, I like to show maybe one or two homes, before they get, pre-approved, just to kind of get their feet wet, get some motivation. But once, we start seeing five, seven homes without a pre-approval,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's kind of tough because they fall in love with the home and they try to get pre-approved and they don't qualify. Then, hopes are, they kind of get
Yeah,
their
yeah.
hopes struck.
It's out of the price range, so now
Yeah.
they're really
Mhm.
kind of
Or yeah, or someone
saddened
else
because they
bought it
can't
and
buy
see.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So that's kind of the bad part of it is you gotta we have to do our due diligence up front, set the
yeah.
expectation. Even though they want, a lot of people think that there's a lot of programs or the internet, the social media will lead our buyers to think that they can buy a massive home for a small payment. So that's why they need to consult with a realtor to, that way we can explain to them the reality of buying a home. So
Another thing I would like to note is, remember when you get through that pre-approval, sometimes you don't even know what you're gonna get pre-approved for, right? And you get pre-approved for say $300,000 home, and those homes are beautiful, right?
yeah,
And you're like, wow, I can see these homes, but you only want a monthly payment of 2,000
right, because you want to make sure you can afford. Yeah,
for
it's
that.
all
Because at the
about
end of the day,
affordability.
affordability, and
Right.
you as a buyer are gonna be the one paying for it.
Right. That's kind of what happened in 2009 when we had the recession, and prices just kind of dropped, and the housing market was in a mess because the banks were approving all these buyers for 300,000, 400,000, but their payment was going to reflect that. But the buyers were like, "Hey, if I can afford a $400,000 home, I'm going to buy it." But then they couldn't keep up with the payment, so it's all about affordability. So that's kind of the bad. We have to set that expectation again up front to make sure that they know.
Yeah, you may be qualified for this, but what are you comfortable paying? You know, we still have family, we still have kids, we still have groceries, we still have a car payment. You still want to live comfortably.
Exactly. So that's a big one. So if you can sit down with them, have a buyer orientation with them, set the expectations, and tell them this is how it works. First is the pre-approval. Second is affordability. What, and a lot of times I don't ask the buyers, how much are you approved for?
Right.
I'll ask them, how much do you want your home monthly payment to be? Because they know what they can afford.
Yeah, what are you comfortable paying per month
For the house.
for the house?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's a big one right
Yeah.
there. So that's kind of the bad, but it can turn, like you said, it can turn to be a good part of it. All right. Is any other kind of the bad part of it before we get to the ugly?
No, I think just maybe kind of the bad part is when there's multiple offers on
Oh yeah.
a home that's just a unicorn, and they fall in love with it, and there's multiple offers, and someone from out of town, out of state comes with cash and just
Throws you
Takes
out.
it off the market.
throws it off the
Throws you
market
out of
for
out of the
not just
bidding.
you, but for all the other offers
Yeah.
that are on board.
So yeah, so multiple offers, especially if it's a very nice home. What happens if it's a really nice home that's been on the market for 1 day, 2 days? What would you tell your buyer as far as placing the offer? What how would that offer
You
look
gotta
like?
go. You gotta go all in. You
And what
gotta
does
go
that mean, all in?
all in. You gotta go full price. If you're gonna go over, make sure you consult with us and the lender to make sure that the home is gonna appraise. Have us do a report to make sure that it's not gonna be under value. We're gonna make sure it's gonna be priced right, and we got to make sure we're gonna pay for title. We're gonna pay for
Right.
survey. We're gonna have a shorter option period.
Right.
We're gonna get an inspector. We're not gonna be too picky on the repairs
Right.
because we gotta compete. You gotta go highest and best. You gotta go all in if
Highest
you
and
want to
best,
win.
highest and best. Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
win, especially if your buyer wants it. And I think you had one of those just recently where this buyer wanted that home because it was close to his family and he wanted that home no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we went all in, right? You went high price, you went over the price. Luckily, and it didn't appraise, right?
Correct.
So he had to pay
The
the
difference.
difference,
Correct.
pay his own closing costs. So it came out to a chunk of money, which buyers have the money, right?
They're fine with. They're fine with if it makes sense for them. If it's in their budget, they'll pay to be in that location, in that neighborhood, by that school, by their family.
So if you want that house and then you gotta have it, you us as realtors, we make it happen.
Right.
We
This
make
was
it
his
happen.
first home.
And it was his first one
He was
ever.
a first time home buyer. He had no idea what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
He fell in love with that home even before it hit the market.
Yeah, exactly.
He saw that the for sale sign came up in the front
I
yard.
remember.
He didn't know who to call. His sister said, "Hey, I know a buddy. He's a realtor." He contacted me, and he said, "I want this home." It was on the market 2 days. I said, "I know we said we can help with wiggle room with closing costs and title survey, but if you really want this home, we got to come in with our A game." And we did.
Yep.
And now he's living
And
it
he
now.
lives in that home. And he's super happy, right?
Definitely,
All
definitely.
right. All right. So good stuff. Okay, so working with buyers, we're talking about the good, the bad, and now let's talk about the ugly. What are some of the ugly things that you've come across with working with some of our buyers or some buyers, in general?
Some of the ugly stuff that as we go through it is when you go into the home and it's beautiful, it's staged correctly, it smells good, but then you put an offer, you win the offer, and then you get an inspector out there, and now we've got roof damage.
Yeah.
I've had that one. One of my
Inspection report comes
inspection
back
report.
50 pages long.
Oh, it's a 50-page, and they tell me, "Chris, is this normal?" And I'm like,
Pictures and
"Let's go with it one by one." And we got to sit down. We got to say, "Okay, are we willing to deal with this, or can we ask the seller to help us with the?"
And then I guess the ugly part would be the seller says no.
Yeah, because
They say
they
no,
know.
we're not gonna do
Yeah.
anything, and we have other offers lined up. Take it as is. You fix it up on your own,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the ugly part. But of course, we maneuver,
Yeah.
and you've got to pivot
it's and the way I see it's kind of like a baseball game to me. It's like first base. If you get to first base, that's your contract. You win the offer, then you get to second base, and each base gets harder and harder. So the second base is going to be the repairs and dealing with the repairs because that could be a deal breaker. If it's a roof and it's in bad shape, it's going to cost $15,000,
Yeah.
and nobody wants to pay for it. Then it's gonna kill the deal.
Yeah.
Third base is going to be the appraisal, which is even harder because now if it doesn't come at value, say it comes in low, the lender's only going to loan up to whatever it appraised at. So if it's at 300,000 and the appraisal comes in at 290, that's all they can borrow is 290. So who's going to pay the difference because the contract's 300? So somebody's either going to have to pay the difference or the seller's going to have to come down. So that's harder. And then they have lender required repairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the lender will not give out the loan unless these certain repairs are actually completed, like repairing the water heater or gas lines,
The windows,
broken windows, peeling paint.
Peeling paint.
BAFHA require that. So that's the kind of stuff that we look out. If we start looking at, we put a bid on a house, we win the offer, we get through the the inspection, but we know there's peeling paint. We would know that, right?
Yeah,
We know,
yeah,
hey,
yeah, we see it.
you need to tell the seller because this is not going to pass the loan.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the ugly stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy even when we first go in to view these homes, the buyers are looking at a home. It looks beautiful. I think us as realtors, we're already looking at the
Looking
roof.
at the
We're looking at there's
ceiling,
chilling paint or we don't tell them yet, but we
Yeah.
kind of
smoke
let them know this is
detectors.
what's going to come up as we go through.
Yeah,
And we're
smoke detectors. Yeah.
smoke detectors, carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
So we just got to make sure.
Yeah, wrought iron covers the
Yeah,
covers on the windows.
Yeah.
They don't have the latch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Opening
yeah.
the cabinets under the sink, the faucet to see if there's
The leaks.
mold or
Mold.
I had a home where there was termites.
Oh man.
There was termites that had just taken over the home, and we didn't see until we had the termite inspector go out there,
Yeah.
and he said this home is infested, infestation.
So there's so much.
There's so many.
And if the home has a pool, you
Yeah.
got to get a pool inspector to go out there.
Yeah.
It's different from the home inspection. It's different from the termite inspector.
Right.
It's a different inspector to go out there and check the pool.
Exactly. So much. So that's kind of talking about buyers, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's actually a lot of fun helping them, especially those that are easy to work with. I've had a couple of buyers this year where it were easy. Within 2 houses, they found it, they fell in love with it, and they bought it. It was a piece of cake. But then we had some of those at 30 houses we've been showing them.
We're still going strong,
And you're still going
and we're
strong.
not going to give up on you guys. We'll find the right one.
So keep in mind, we do this on a daily basis. As realtors, we're out there showing houses, we're out there selling houses, and most buyers out there do this maybe 2 times, 3 times in their lifetime. So put your stress on us. We'd be more than happy to help you do it the right way. And so that's today's podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That way you get to see our later or our newer videos. So subscribe, like, and share.
Cool deal.
See you on the next one.
Later.